Hello, hello. This is episode number 8.
Hello.
This one, we're going to talk a little bit about technology and how they can impact learning. We're going to just try and bring some of the research that is being done very lightly, nothing so deep. And we're gonna share our opinion about some of the things and the use of technology, and let's go for it.
Yes. So I think we can start by talking about, this week I shared something on Instagram from the Modern Parents Guide webpage, and it said Sweden just bans screens in schools following a reported 10% drop in literacy scores. We are raising the first generation of digital natives, but they still have analog brains. And I cannot say if this new the 10% is completely true or not. This was a page on Instagram and something that I shared, not just about the fact if it's true or not, but about I think it's important for us to be talking about it. Like,
Hmm.
what are the consequences of having computers and having this digital native students in our classrooms? And I think this is very important when we talk about that.
Yeah, I saw something. I saw a video. One researcher saying about how neurologically we are built to learn from humans and not from machines. So
Mhm.
I even said something, I posted something. So AI is going to substitute teachers. Yeah, not.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully not, right? Because
Mhm.
it is true when we're thinking about learning. Yes, technology can bring a lot of important things when we think about accessibility and thinking about access to information from anywhere and everywhere and all kinds of information. But the
Mhm.
learning bit, you have to have the rapport, you have the connection, you need that, right? So you said something about Sweden, and I
Yes.
did some research, and I've learned that in the beginning of this year, some regions in Spain, I think Madrid region and also the Netherlands, they're starting to either phase out or strictly limit the digital tools and devices in the classroom. Um, and one thing that I can say right now is whenever, and I hear this more often, whenever
Mhm.
teachers want to have kids home, they just put something on a screen, and then you're
Yes.
going to see all of your students mesmerized, right? Because they're going to
Mhm.
be looking at the screen. They won't
Yes.
even remember their names. They won't remember that they
Mhm.
have to eat, that they have to go to the toilet. It's funny. I noticed that this week because it's been raining a lot here.
Mhm.
So during playtime, they don't have any place to play. So they have to play in the
Mhm.
classrooms. And it's normal for whomever is supervising them to just put something, some YouTube videos for
Mhm.
them to watch. And every time the videos stopped, I have 4 or 5 kids rushing to me saying, "May I go to the toilet? May I go to the toilet?" Because they
Mhm.
realize, okay, I have a body. So,
Uh-huh.
and my
Yes.
body has needs, right?
Yes.
But what's your view?
I just think there are a lot of things that we can combine in this. I think what happened was in the beginning with like computer in schools becoming 101. So every student having their own computer, or if they don't have a computer, like you have half of a set of computers in the classroom that you can at least have 30 minutes, and all this amazing apps that help the kids learn. Like, and they do help them like memorize math facts. They do read the story for them and ask questions without you reading stories and differentiating all the stories for the 22 students you have in your classroom. So
Mm-hmm.
they do help, and they are developed. I think there's lots of apps, especially the educational ones, that they are developed in favor of the kid. They want
Mm-hmm.
to help the kid improve fluency or whatever the task is, right? However, I really believe that we learn from interaction, and we learn from the other one that
Mm-hmm.
and especially I teach kindergarten. So I believe that they learn from manipulating, from exploring, from playing. And when you take that away, they become very good executors, if that's the word.
Yeah.
Like people that can do, they complete the task that you give them, but they are not good thinkers.
No.
So if you don't give something that is completely like explicit, you're going to do this, then you click this button, and then you're going to move on, and then there's going to be a star popping on the screen, and you know it's done. If it's not that, then they don't know
Yeah.
what to do.
They get
So if you
lost.
give them a paper with the instructions, like three simple instructions, and you say you have those instructions, go figure it out, they're going to come and say, where can I get the paper? But where's the dice? And who's going first, because they don't know how to figure all of that out by themselves, even though they have been in my classroom since the beginning of the year and they know exactly where the papers are. They
Mm-hmm.
know where dice are, they know where all materials are, they know where their friends are so they can play with, and they know how to play rock paper scissors shoot because that's what we do every time we're playing together. But when they are completely independent, they don't know how to go there, they don't
Yeah.
know how to do that. And that's where we are losing. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where technology is playing such a big space, a big part in our classrooms. But we are learning the like critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We are losing the problem solving. We are losing the spontaneity of the kids to just figure it out
Yeah.
and feel accomplished about figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I've been seeing in my classroom that is alarming, and it does like breaks my heart.
And there's one thing that this has been the theme for discussions. I don't know since when.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the fact that kids are not, they don't know what to do with boredom anymore. They don't know how to wait. They're not patient. They are always doing things, even if it's just staring at a screen. And whenever there's a commercial or something, they don't know what to do with themselves as well. Because if there's no
Yeah.
interaction, or if they're not just absorbing things, they don't know what to do. And
Mm-hmm.
it's something so important, right?
Yes.
You develop so many skills when you don't know what to do, or you supposedly have nothing to do. That
Mm-hmm.
is something that is weird. Yesterday, just an anecdote, right? Yesterday we went. It was a beautiful day. Finally, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
raining. Uh, and then we went to the park, and my son just sat there, and he said, "I don't know what to do." He said, "Okay, you're gonna look for those trees, and you're going to try and find how many different trees are there." But what trees? Where should I look? What exactly do I need? Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Just listen to the sounds around you. Just see the people passing by. Just do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important. And no, kids don't know how to do that. And my kids, they don't have access to screens unlimitedly, right? They have, and it's so sad. Okay, but thinking about the classroom.
Yeah, and I think what we can do, right? So I've been taking this endorsement course on gifted, and I repeatedly, like all of my discussion posts are about how sad I am about my kindergarten classroom, about not providing them enough opportunities to explore and to play and to
Hmm.
like. So 2 weeks ago, I think we watched a video, and it was about. Let me see if I have the name uh, of the video here. Shoot, 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 I might have it. Um, yes. So I watched. two different videos. One was from Sirkin Robinson. It was a TED Talk from 2006.
Yeah.
2006. And another one from the Lego Foundation that talks about cultures of creativity. It
Mm-hmm.
was from 2014. And both of them talk about creativity. One talked about like creativity being as important as literacy.
Yeah.
And the other one talks about the unstructured play and how much creativity and how much kids learn from our unstructured play.
Mm-hmm.
Then today I was doing another assignment and I was listening to what's her name Tina Seeley, and it's a TED talk from Stanford from 2012, and she's also talking about like where do ideas come from,
Mm-hmm.
and how our kindergarten classrooms used to be a place where the kids come and everything is there for them to learn. So they have like the cooking area, they have like the writing center, they have a science place, and then here I am looking at my classroom and saying no, like her video is from 2012 and that's how it was in 2012. We are in 2026 and we gave 10 steps backwards,
Mm-hmm.
and we do not have that anymore. We have groups, we do have a lot of manipulatives that we can provide kids, but like kids have less and less time for unstructured play or for activities that are not provided by me. Like I am most of the time with the kid, and I am most of the time telling them what to do, what to think, what strategy to use, or whatever it is. And this kills me inside. But that's not what I believe as a teacher. I hate having to follow the curriculum so strictly.
Yeah.
I hate having to be there and just not provide those opportunities for the kids. But at the same time, like, what is our, like, how can we, the teachers that are in the classroom, change it if not by breaking the rules?
Yeah.
So most of the times, like, I have been doing, well, hope my boss doesn't listen to that. But I have been doing the free Fridays in my classroom, which is at the end of the day, if you have, because they do have an amount of minutes online that they have, like in math and language arts, like that
Language.
you, yeah, so they have to have like a 30 minutes uh, per the week. So it's like when I do small groups twice a week, they should be on the computer doing 15 minutes so they would accomplish this time,
Mm-hmm.
um, or they could do it at home and then they accomplish this time. So the kids that have accomplished the time on Friday, it's Free Friday. Like, you know, where everything is in the classroom, go figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And they do, all my kids, they do everything to have their minutes before Friday
So
because
they can have that free time. Yeah.
they want to do whatever they want. They want to draw. They have no idea. Sometimes I have like 10 kids like sharing the markers and crayons because they do not have time for free drawing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like just drawing. They just want to be able to use markers because we don't
I'm
allow them to use markers.
I'm just going to say something. I'm so happy right now because my kids, they have way more freedom in that
Mm-hmm.
sense because uh, the amount of hours that they stay in the classroom is not the same amount of time that they have that the classroom is open for them. Meaning,
Okay.
they have uh, it's not that they have a staggered entrance time,
Mm-hmm.
but registration for them is only at 9 and they can
Mm-hmm.
come to the classroom at 8. So
Okay.
from 8 to 9, I can give them the tasks to finish if
Mm-hmm.
I want to, but I can use
Mm-hmm.
that time for free play. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's not, I cannot call it free play. I hope my boss is not listening to me. No, but it's they have structured games that they can play, educational games, but usually
Mm-hmm.
I put something that is more open-ended so that it's not uh, specifically maths that they have to solve addition sums. It can be
Uh-huh.
something related to maths, but it's not structured. And they can have scrap paper to just draw.
Uh-huh.
And that I promote as much as I can because I know how
Yeah.
much that's important for so many other things that they are going to do throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um, and I have 2 periods a week that is called
Mm-hmm.
structured play. that
Mm-hmm.
is more of a free play. And
Mm-hmm.
I do have a kitchen in my classroom
Mm-hmm.
and some other toys that are not
Mm-hmm.
educational toys.
Uh-huh.
So
They
it
kind
will,
of, they have, oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for your students. And I think, like, I do think that if we have some friends in Brazil that work in bilingual schools, like the ones that we worked at, or that work in schools that do invest in teachers and progress development, and that
yeah,
I think like they probably have like way more opportunities to provide this. And because, for example, first time I heard about Reggio Emilia, it was in the schools that we worked at,
yeah,
and they would uh, inspire us and encourage us to actually use the environment as a third teacher. They would
yeah.
provide opportunities for us to actually, like, we had to follow a curriculum, but to do that in the more constructive way. Unfortunately, that's not the reality in the United States and in the public school. And I understand from one side, one point of view, where you have to guarantee that all the kids are getting and are being provided with the same education, which I do think, like, if it's the public school, you have to make sure that the kid that is in the downtown area with less resources, they're going to receive the same materials, the same texts, and they are going to like be exposed to the same material that the kid that is in a very wealthy neighborhood.
But we
And
can,
I
but we can have a discussion about that.
Yes, but it's one point of view,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying that it's completely correct because they have different background knowledges and they're going to access that information in a completely different
yeah.
way. But like, I understand from the point of view of the district
Hmm.
trying to like minimize and create more equity somehow
Yeah.
and guarantee that they're all being exposed to the same content.
Hmm.
So by the end of that year, they can guarantee that all the kids in kindergarten have been exposed to character setting, beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
They all have been exposed to addition and subtraction numbers to 20 or whatever it is
Hmm.
that this standard asks. But on the other hand, like, it takes away from the teacher the freedom of getting to know your students, knowing what your students need and how you can provide
Provide
that.
that.
Because if
Yeah.
you are attached to the curriculum and you have to be teaching language arts for 1 hour and a half of your classroom, and knowing that if someone from the district comes in and your kids are playing and you have two kids with you because those are the ones that needed intervention at that time, you might get in trouble
Hmm.
because they are, but where's the standard related to what the other ones are doing right now?
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know. They are sitting down together. They are deciding the rules of the game. They are playing the game together. So I'm happy with that because that's the social emotional place that they are right now. And that's what I want them to develop, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
So it takes away the freedom. And and that's where I think computers came such like strongly to the classrooms in the United States because it is very hard to control the other kids that have not developed the social emotional skills to be independent in the classroom, and you have to work with your small group, right? So you have to make sure that you are differentiating, you have to make sure that you are giving instructions, but then, like, if I am with 6 kids, what am I going to do with the other kids?
Hmm.
I'll put them in the computer,
That.
because if I
Because.
don't put them in the computer, they're going to interrupt me so many times that I
Hmm.
won't be able to give the intervention that I have. But why are they interrupting me so many times? Because we are not developing the social
Social
emotional
emotional.
aspect of being independent, of knowing how to use your words with your friends, of being responsible, of
Hmm.
figuring out what to do and being creative, using your problem solving skills. Like, we are not developing that.
Yeah. Because that is
And then
secondary. If
computers,
you look at the curriculum, that's going to be secondary.
yes, and
If
then that's where computers become so important because, like,
yeah,
let's put them on the
babysitters.
computer. They're going to be quiet and they're going to be using a standard.
Yeah.
So if anybody comes to my classroom, I'm using the standards. They are on the computer.
Hmm.
But what are the like? What are going to be the consequences for it? And I think like there's been a lot of articles already about how this is the generation that has the IQ, the first generation that has the IQ that is lower than their parents,
Yeah.
which is concerning because first of all, I want my kids to be smarter than I am. I want them to like, especially with all the tools they have today, I want them to be able to like accomplish not like material things, but accomplish in the sense of like gaining knowledge and
Yeah.
learning more and being able to explore more, way more than I was able to.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to have the skills for that. They have to have the tools for that. And most of the skills are related to being creative, are related to developing ways of dealing with the world
Yeah.
without having to talk to, like, without having to ask someone how to do or what to do or when to do.
And I think if we stop and really think about some decades ago, the
Hmm.
amount of time that, even if we spent less time in the school, at school, uh, we would spend a lot of time outside with other people, with other kids, and they would help us learn all those skills. And
Yes,
nowadays, everybody's just closed
in
in
there.
their own houses, in their own apartments, and
Yes.
there's less interaction. So there's less learning of the social and emotional skills that are needed. So
Mhm.
it's not just the fact that we're using more computers and screens in the classroom, but it's because that is also happening at home.
Yes.
And
It's
how
difficult.
how do we fix this? Is it possible to fix this? So how can we actually reverse the situation
Mhm.
or
Yes.
minimize the damage?
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't know if
Well, I
anybody that is listening to us has
know
any
when.
great
No.
solution
Mhm.
to it, but at some point, it's going to get to us this restriction, this limit of
Yes.
screen time. I was having a discussion this week with my leader. She was saying that uh, ideally, we shouldn't be using screens in the classroom just as a babysitter, right? So no
Yes.
cartoons or things like that.
Yes.
Um, but then how? How do we have our students actually sitting down and paying attention? Because they don't. Attention
Hmm.
span is decreasing.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. I think there are some things that I truly believe that we can do. I think one of the measures that most of the countries or districts are trying to take, which is like cell phones away from school, it's one way of making sure that kids are actually interacting and looking at each other in the face. And even though they do have the computer there and they use the computer, like in the school's computers that are not like communication apps or anything like
yeah,
this. So they cannot be messaging each other, they cannot be texting or any of this. So they do have to talk and they do have to figure out what to do, right? I think in the lower grade levels, computer phones are not there any, has never
have
been.
never been, yes.
I think parents more and more are aware of the problems that cell phones and social media and all those things will provide. I hope. Then it's not. I think it's a hope.
Okay, so I was delivering an assembly. We have kids that are 5, 6, and 7 in the same
Mhm.
room, and I had around 150 kids in the room, and I was delivering the assembly about internet safety.
Uh
So we
huh.
were discussing what they should be doing when they're using apps or when they're seeing
Hmm.
videos, if they should be seeing videos and all of that. And then first thing that I did, okay, so I had an iPad, a computer, a notebook, and a
Uh,
phone. And I asked them, okay, so put your hand up if you have ever played or used one of these, the iPad.
hmm.
All of them put their hands up because they use that in the classroom. They have computing
Uh-huh.
lessons and they use those.
Yeah.
Notebooks, most of them had their hands up. Now, put
Mhm.
your hand up if you have a phone. I
Mhm.
had around 75 kids, so half of the kids there, putting their hands up.
That is
They
scary.
are 5, 6, and they
That
have
is
phones. Like, no.
that is sad.
And then I continued the presentation, blah, blah, blah. And then I said something about YouTube. I said, you shouldn't be watching YouTube without supervision. And then a teacher just shouted out, no, but if it's YouTube Kids, it's fine. I said, because
No
I
YouTube.
post videos on YouTube, and if I want to put any kind of content and just select that is appropriate for kids, I can.
Mhm.
And just some of the videos are actually going to be scanned to see if they're
Uh-huh.
appropriate or not, and if they're not, they're going to be removed. But most of them,
Mhm.
they just go.
Yes.
And teachers were like shocked. They did not know this.
That is so sad.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
how?
How how come, right?
How?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, so hopefully people are becoming more aware of the risks of having social media and having kids with this, right? But I think in our classroom, there are some things that we can be doing, right? So in kindergarten, unfortunately, for that, we have to break some rules, or we have to pretend we didn't see, and then when someone comes and say, "Oh, really? I'm sorry. I'll do the next time," and then you move on, right? But I have been in my gifted class. I have been reading this book. It's called Creativity,
In the classroom.
like, Creativity in the Classroom, and it is pretty interesting. It brings a lot of strategies and things that you can do in the classroom just to provide moments of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of it talks about like how you can differentiate the question. So instead of asking 5 + 5 = 10, what can you say instead? Like how can you make a 10? Or like even when I've started this week in my classroom, it's pretty cool. It's a like there's a game. I don't know. I got it at Walmart and it was like on the $4 session before school started. Like
Okay.
they had a session for teachers. And there was this game there. And it has lots of animals. It's like those are there are cards with questions about animals.
Okay.
And they are high level thinking questions. Like seriously. So then I started doing last week with my kids, and it's amazing. Like we do all the calendar stuff and whatnot, and then I put them facing their partner. We change it every day, like who's going to be their partner, and then they have the thinking time, and then they can answer. And there are questions like, "Why do snakes shed?" Or
Nice.
"Why does the which one was the one raccoon? Is the raccoon that farts or has the smelly?"
Skunk.
Skunk, yeah. So we had a question about the skunk this week. We had a question like why don't all birds fly? So it's like those are open-ended questions and they start coming up like they start talking
Mm-hmm.
and then I ask them all to tell me what they think it is. And some of the questions, I'm going to be honest, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, I have no clue why. I guess, I have my guess, I have what I think it is, but I cannot tell you you were right or wrong. So I want to hear everybody. There's no ridiculous answer. They can all be okay.
Yeah.
And most of the times, like the possibilities or their hypothesis, kind of like if you combine them, they get you the right answer. And it's pretty cool because they wouldn't get it there by themselves,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they kind of like so when they talk about it, I kind of like, okay, so we had this idea, this idea, this idea, and this idea. Now let's read the answer. And the answer is like kind of scientific. So the words are hard,
Mm-hmm.
but they stay quiet and they want to know like if they were right or wrong, or if any of their ideas were correct, or what is it then if we don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are moments of curiosity and creativity where they can actually talk and figure out different possibilities. So I think it's our job to start providing these moments in the classroom,
Yeah.
even when they're not embedded in our curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And even with, like, we are not studying life cycle yet. We're going to study life cycle in, I don't know, maybe 2 months from now. But I'm pretty sure that when I get to life cycles, they're going to be super engaged. And they're going to say, oh, are we going to be talking about the eggs now?
Mm-hmm.
And because we do get eggs in our classrooms. So I think uh, it's our job to not lose sight of that
Yeah. Yeah.
and not forget. So that's why it's so good to every now and then go and do those courses that we don't like take those endorsements that It's
We can have a
mandatory.
whole episode about professional development of teachers and how that is important. Uh, but yeah, sometimes just simple things. So uh, sometimes they're even like, why didn't I think about that before? So for
Mm-hmm.
example, thinking about how to get students to do things and without the need of a screen, right? So we have lots of different apps and things that will help them um, do things to the beat, for example, right? So
Yes.
when they're thinking about music and all of that. And I was practicing the carnival dance with my students, and they had to count in.
Mm-hmm.
Had to count to 8 and then jump, but they were all doing at random times. So I got a
Uh-huh.
tennis ball, and I said,
Uh-huh.
okay, so you're gonna look at the ball, and when I throw it, you're gonna wait. When I hold it, you're gonna clap, just to get
Uh-huh.
their timing,
Yes.
right? The
Uh-huh.
response.
Yes.
It was amazing because we did, I don't know, 5 times, and then I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, I'm gonna do it differently now. I'm gonna throw it to the floor. I'm gonna bounce it, and when I catch
Uh-huh.
it, you have to do the same. Okay, so it's a
Uh-huh.
different attention that they need, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's do the song again. Let's dance. Done. They all managed to do
Amazing,
it.
man.
And see, you don't need a screen to teach them how to do things. You can do in different ways, but
Yes.
it's not easy to just have
Yes.
these ideas. And then they think why teachers are so tired because we're always
Yes.
thinking about different ways that we can do things and function.
Yes.
But that's another topic. But one thing that we have to think about use of technology, and you were saying about the amazing apps and all of that. Some
Mm-hmm.
things they are really important and they work really well in computers, right? So
Mm-hmm. Yes.
nowadays we have these learning apps that, for example, we use one in our school that is related to phonics, and
Mm-hmm.
it's designed for dyslexic kids, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
just used by dyslexic kids.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it goes, it's amazing. You have the
Mm-hmm.
pre-assessment that is going to place you exactly where you
Uh-huh.
are at the
Uh-huh.
sounds that you already know, and then uh, it's going to place you exactly where your learning is, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
going to guide you, and based on how you perform, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
level you and it's going to take you to the path
Yes.
that you need. So it's AI
Mm-hmm.
informed, and
Uh-huh.
it takes you, it's really good, it's impressive. I wish
Uh-huh.
I
Yes.
could
Yes.
have that available for all of my students, but it's just for some
Uh-huh.
specific students.
Uh-huh.
And we also use some other things that are not so smart, let's say, some other
Mm-hmm.
apps that are really good. So I have some students that were new to English last year, and their level of writing is, because they
Uh-huh.
use that every week. They use
Okay. And it helps them.
the app. But then I have to tell them off because they're using it too much. I had a
Too much.
student
Yes.
that in one week, it was a normal week, it
Mm-hmm.
was not a week off. So when we have
Uh-huh.
half terms and things like that, that
Yes.
they spend a lot of time at home. No, it was a normal week,
Uh-huh.
and he had spent 12 hours
No,
using.
that's way too much.
I
Yeah.
said, that is not healthy. That's not good for
Uh,
you.
yes.
So
Yes.
we need to try and find the balance and also
Yes.
show parents and show the students how that goes. And on the other hand, I had to push some parents, look, your kid really needs to use this more. So
Uh-huh.
15, no, but they have no tablets at home. They cannot use computers, but they need that daily
Uh-huh.
practice that I cannot provide at school. I cannot
Uh-huh.
guarantee that they're gonna have that um, exposure, uh,
Yes.
but we need to try and find a balance, right?
Yeah, but it's crazy, right? Because my I had a data check with my principal last week, and then she was talking about one of my students that is not performing on the computer or is not growing on the computer the way she should be. And I'm like, well, because she doesn't use the computer. And she's like, well, but you have to keep parents informed. You have to let parents know. And then I look at her, I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, well, how come you're not going to do that? I'm like, I can guarantee what they do in the classroom. And I can guarantee what, like, I can tell you that I am putting her twice a week on the system for 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes. And she is like, we have one of those smart whatever programs too. And like, she is recommended 60 minutes per week. I am giving her 30 minutes per week. That's what the district mandates me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell parents like she is expected to perform at least 30 minutes at home, but I'm not going to be sending emails every week to the parents. I am not going to be telling parents. She is extremely creative. Like she's a girl that it's amazing how creative she is. And in the classroom, she always comes up with different ideas and she makes connections between what we were doing in math and what we were doing in science. It's like, huh, that's what you were telling me in science yesterday. And like, so if she's completing the computer at home or not, like seriously, and I am against homework, so I have this can be another topic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I don't care if you're not doing it. And if my principal comes and tells me again, I'm gonna say, well, she's doing the 30 minutes in the classroom, and I can prove it because I do have 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
She's not improving on the program because she's not engaged by the program. And it's a pretty cool program. Like there are some kids that love the program, but it's not her language. It's not how she learned.
And is she performing? Is she making progress out of
Yeah.
the computer?
Oh, in the class, yes, but she's assessed on the computer. So on the assessment on the computer, she is not. And the data that goes to the district is the data from the computer, but it's not accurate. It's not real. It's not what it should be. And that's not how my students should be
Assessed.
being
Yeah.
evaluated. So in my classroom, she's performing as she should. And for me, her biggest challenge is organization. It's not even related to like once she passes the organization, she's gonna be able to accomplish way more. So
Mm-hmm.
my focus with her in my classroom is to improve her organizational skills.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my focus.
But that's one thing. Sometimes, so you were talking about assessments. I have two ways of assessing my kids. The
Mhm.
because we don't do tests, right? But they
Mhm.
have standardized assessments that they go through.
Mhm.
I'm really glad that the assessments that they do are not just screen based. So I
Mhm.
have in one of the maths is done
Mhm.
um, in the computer, and all of the language and all of and the other maths is done
Mhm.
on paper. So it's paper based.
Mhm.
And I have some students that it doesn't really matter which, if it's
Mhm.
screen or not, they are going to
Yep.
underperform
Mhm.
because I have kids that are uh, they have anxiety, test anxiety, or
Mhm.
evaluation anxiety. They are
Mhm.
going, they know they're being assessed. Oh no, it's
Mhm.
just for teachers to know how well you're doing so they can prepare better the lesson. No,
They
they
see that.
know.
Uh-huh.
They know because
Uh-huh.
the
Mhm.
environment changes, right?
Mhm.
And they're going to underperform. So when we're questioned about the data and when we're writing the reports and saying that this kid is performing like this, no, but that's not what the data says. And say, but I cannot just rely on the data. I have to
Yes.
rely my assessment. It's not just what the kid's performing during the formal assessment. We
Yes.
do. I forgot the name now. Ah,
Formative assessment.
formative assessments. Yes, right. It's not just summative.
Yes.
It's formative. So that's how it should be done. So, uh, but it's good to know that I'm not the only one that is going to contest and say to the principal or whomever, how is this kid? No, we have to do that. As educators,
Yes.
it's our job
Yes.
to really fight for some fights that are important and that we have to fight.
On that note, we have just to wrap it up. Our district has started to. They want all the kids all the formative assessments based on the materials that we use, right? So math, when the unit's done, we have an assessment. language arts, when the unit's done, we have an assessment, and we usually do it on the paper. It's kindergarten. We do it paper based, right? Um, the district wants us now to do it computer. So we did it, math, right? So we taught the unit, put our kids on the computer, and let them do it. One of the teachers, more than half of her class, posted before answering any questions. Even though we went through, you have to press this button, you have to listen, you have blah, blah, we went over all the directions,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they did on the paper, because we decided that we were going to do the paper as well.
Okay.
So we're saving the paper for us. So the score that goes on their grade book at the end of the semester or the quarter is the paper base.
Okay.
I am not putting the computer based score there. I had almost half of my class failing on the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and I had only two kids that were below grade level or below expectations on the paper base.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave the two tests on the same day. So I put them on the computer and then I went. But what happens with the paper is that we have to go question by question. I have to read, make sure they all answer. Because most of the times they don't even click the button. So I am not actually assessing when I'm on the computer, I'm not assessing their content knowledge. I'm assessing their
Computer
computer
not.
skills.
Yeah.
And they are 5 years old. Like there was one question about number line.
Mm-hmm.
Use the number line to solve the addition. How can they use the number line if they cannot use the screen and
And draw.
hop forward and hop
Yeah.
backwards? On the paper, I said, look at the number line. This is the equation. Solve the equation on the number line. So they solved it. And then it was there on the number line, hopping forward, hopping backwards, whatever, if it was addition or subtraction.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're going to find the answer A, B, or C. Choose one.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to manipulate, they need to use the strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to put them on the computer? I will, but my scores are going to go, and the problem is that my pay raise next year is based on the kids' scores. So if they don't make it, then it's a whole nother thing. So we can talk about that later. Let's stop here. Yeah.
Yeah, I had that. They use one of the assessments last year that was done in the computer, the maths assessment. Kids didn't know how to use a mouse, and they had to
Yeah.
use a mouse. It wasn't just a pad. If it was just the mouse pad, fine, but they had to
Mhm.
use a physical mouse, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah.
it's not
And then we
fun.
talk to the district and they say they're going to get used to it. I'm like, I don't want them to get used to it. So that's not appropriate. It's not age appropriate. They will get it. Like by the fourth time they take, like the fourth assessment they take, they will know the skills and they will send it, but it's not age appropriate.
It's
So
not. Yeah.
that's my fight gun. And I think we are running out of time. So
That's it. That's our conversation. And please join us. Share your ideas. Share what you do. Share if you're already throwing computers out of the windows or if you have ever done
yeah.
that. And we'll see you next time.
Yay, bye.
Bye,
Thank
guys. Thank
you.
you.